Enarau Conservancy is one of the community-owned and managed wildlife and biodiversity protection areas, acting as the last line of defense for the Masai Mara on its northern side, shielding the world-renowned wildlife sanctuary from extensive human activities. The landowners established the Conservancy in 2022 to protect threatened habitats, including forested areas and a critical 21-acre wetland that features a year-round stream which breathes life into the Conservancy and feeds into the Mara River. The area still bears the evidence of the destruction in years gone by. In the Conservancy, a 336-acre patch of reclaimed land is undergoing restoration after 3 decades of intensive farming. The soil is now recovering slowly from the intensive use of fertilizers, pesticides and other chemicals.
We appreciate the community for putting their land into conservation as opposed to other land use practices and hence enhancing biodiversity protection.
However, the Conservancy needed to do more than just persuade landowners to commit their land to conservation. It recruited a team to spearhead the conservation efforts, including a team of rangers to protect the integrity of the Conservancy by forestalling illegal activities. The team utilizes Earth Ranger technology, enabling real-time event tracking, including wildlife sightings, conflict reports, and ranger movement data. In less than 3 years, the Conservancy has made notable progress, establishing a thriving restoration project that features an indigenous tree nursery with over 30 species of native trees. The Conservancy has planted hundreds of trees to repair the damage caused over the years. With controlled human activities and the adoption and implementation of a grazing management plan, wildlife is slowly making a comeback. These rangers follow a trail left by elephants that disappeared into the thicket at dawn, as they are still shy about coming out in the open.
My job is really inspiring because we are contributing to conservation of biodiversity and an iconic landscape.
The Conservancy is also focusing on addressing habitat fragmentation and restoring wildlife corridors to enable the free movement of wildlife. Of priority is the Enarau Mbokishi corridor, dotted with fences including electric ones. To open up the corridors, the Conservancy needs to lease the land so the landowners can remove the fences. Enarau Conservancy is also seeking to expand eastwards by leasing land before adjacent landowners opt for alternative uses. The expansion will increase the land size of the Conservancy from the current 3,140 acres to 10,000 acres by 2030. For these reasons, Enarau is establishing a conservation fund to provide bridge financing to support critical operations before the Conservancy begins generating its own revenue. The Conservancy estimates that it requires bridge financing for approximately 5 years with an annual budget of about $486,700, including lease fees at 75% of market rates. It has secured $400,000 for 2026 and 2027. Thus, a funding gap of nearly $286,700 remains for 2026 and a similar amount is required for 2027. The Conservancy needs approximately $486,700 for each subsequent year until 2030. Besides covering critical operational expenditures, the Conservation Fund will pay the current 32 Conservancy members and an additional 72 landowners who own parcels on the wildlife corridors and the targeted expansion area on the eastern part.
By supporting Enarau Conservancy, you are advancing research, supporting local communities, and conserving biodiversity.
We have invested in our institutional capacity to ensure every resource we get goes into accelerating the realization of our mission.
The Conservancy is working on a long-term sustainability plan to ensure it can fund its operations. Hinged on the sustainability plan is pioneering in grounding conservation in ecological research through Enarau Biodiversity Research and Conservation Center.
We aim to grow Enarau Biodiversity Research and Conservation Center to facilitate scientists to generate and share knowledge on biodiversity.
The Conservancy has since established a field research station with experimental plots and is currently hosting 10 researchers, including a postdoctoral researcher, 3 PhD students, and 7 Master of Science students. Furthermore, the Conservancy is partnering with critical research organizations such as the Center for Ecosystem Restoration Kenya, Nottingham Trent University, the Smithsonian Institute, NASA, and Earthwatch. The Conservancy has also established accommodation units to host researchers and generate income. Additionally, the Conservancy is scouting for an investor it will partner with in ecotourism. We invite you to be part of our transformation story. To support Enarau Conservancy, email us at info@enarautrust.org.